Hi everyone, it is Devi, Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. In this video lecture, we are going to learn about launch vehicles and propulsion. On completion of this module, the learners can be able to understand the launching of satellites, and they can also able to define launching procedures and understand about the launch vehicles and rocket launch. So, launching of satellite. Initially, we have to know the basis of launching of satellites. Satellites and spacecrafts are launched into space by putting them on rockets, and rockets carrying tons of propellants. The propellants give the rocket enough energy to boost away from Earth's surface. Because of pull of Earth's gravity, largest, heaviest spacecraft need the biggest rockets and the most propellant. Once the rocket is launched, Earth's gravity is still pulling down the rocket. When the rocket burns propellants and pushes out exhaust that create upward, and the force is called thrust. And while launching the rocket, some procedures should be followed. That procedures are called as launching procedures. Low Earth orbiting satellites are directly injected into their orbits, and this cannot be done in case of GEO, as they have to be positioned 36,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Hence, launch vehicles are used to set these satellites on their orbits. The vehicles are reusable. They are also known as Space Transportation System (STS). When the orbital altitude is greater than 1200 kilometers, it will be expensive to inject the satellite in its orbit directly. So that a procedure which is commonly known as Hoffman transfer orbit is used. This transfer orbit is selected to minimize the energy required for the transfer of the satellite. Let us consider this diagram for orbit transfer positions. It denotes position number 1, 2 and 3. And R is the radius and O is the orbit. This diagram indicates the different injects of satellites with required thrust into the transfer orbit. Similarly, an kick motor is used to inject the satellite in its destination orbit. Generally, it takes 1 to 2 months for the satellite become fully functional. The Earth station performs the telemetric tracking and command function to control the satellite and system. Thrust is the reaction force described by Newton's second and third laws. Kick motor refers to the rocket motor regularly employed on artificial satellites destined for the geostationary orbit. As the vast majority of geostationary satellite launches are carried out from the space port at the significant distance from the Earth's equator. Telemetric tracking and common TT control is used, that is subsystem where the functions performed by the satellite control network to maintain health and status and measure specific mission parameters and processing over the sequence of these measurements to define the parameter knowledge and transmission controls to the satellite. The carrier rocket launches it would only be able to launch the satellite into the elliptical orbit of maximum of 35,784 kilometers. The transfer of orbit. It is better to launch rockets closer to equator, and it is because of that it rotates at a greater speed here than at either pole. This extra speed at the equator means a rocket needs less thrust and less fuel to launch into orbit. In addition, launching at the equator provides an additional 1036 per hour once the vehicle reaches the orbit. So, this is again the diagram for Hoffman transfer orbit, low Earth orbit and Hoffman transfer orbit and high Earth orbit. So, rocket launch generally of the flight generally take off the phase of the flight of the orbit, and rocket launch technologies generally refers to the entire of set of systems needed to successfully launch a vehicle, not just the vehicle itself but also the firing control system, ground control and launch pad, etc. So launches are classified into missile, mobile launch vehicle, submarine, air launch and surface ship, etc. As the speed grows, the vehicle will become more and more horizontal until the orbit speed is reached. So this is the space transportation system. These are the elements to be noted. So here AMF is the system which is used for operating motor firing, and AKM, RF, PKS, RCS and STS. And at the end of the system we have the quiz questions about launching of satellites and vehicle propulsion and rocket launch system. Hope this session is understood to you. Thank you.